Extreme digital minimalism is the pursuit of having the least amount possible of digital data and information. And honestly, it is as important part of my life as my one-bag lifestyle. That's why this video is all about living an extreme digital minimalist life while pursuing a one-bag life. And at the end of the video, I will give you my single best tip on the easiest way how you can declutter your digital data and information for any kind of lifestyle, even if you're not pursuing a one-bag life. So don't miss out. If you're new here, I'm Sven, just an extreme minimalist one-bag lifer with less than 100 possessions and the desire to live his whole life out of just one carry-on sized backpack. So if you end up liking the video, don't forget to subscribe and like. But most important, share a comment with your thoughts at the end of the video, check the weekly One Bag Life community post and join me on my journey towards a true one bag life. But I would say, let's get started. Have you ever thought about your digital data or in general your digital footprint? I do it all the time. And honestly, in today's day and age, your information that is out there in the internet is maybe one of the most important things that you are having right now. And most people don't even know that. That's why extreme digital minimalism is such a big part of my own life and will always be there. But first, let me give you a very simple and easy definition what extreme digital minimalism means to me. And that is to reduce your digital data, information, and also your digital footprint in general to a minimum and keep it that way. So for me, digital minimalism only focuses on the data on your maybe mobile devices or in the cloud. So everything that is digitally, for example, on this tablet counts as digital minimalism to me. The device itself, so the tablet itself, does not include, or I don't include it in digital minimalism. This is for me a low-tech life, which I also try to pursue and which I also try to minimize as much as possible, but I already made some videos about a low-tech life before. But digital minimalism or extreme digital minimalism is just, as I said, the digital data on your devices and in the cloud that is stored there. And before we talk the actual things that are consisting in digital minimalism like passwords, apps, websites, internet accounts and storage, let's quickly talk about the technique that you can use to make extreme digital minimalism or digital minimalism in general a habit in your day-to-day life. And I think actually it's pretty easy. For me, I have two categories, I would say, of decluttering when it comes to extreme digital minimalism. And that is, the first one is that I declutter directly after I use something, and the other one is that I declutter after 1 week. So these are the broader, I would say, categories where I categorize some of the things in that I'm doing online or digitally, so I can keep track of where I am right now and still having a habit that lets me pursue a extreme digital minimalist lifestyle. So let's talk about the first category that I will declutter immediately after I use them, and that is apps, passwords, and internet accounts. And yes, there are every kind of this, so apps, passwords, and internet account that you need to keep for very important things, like your bank account and so on. But I talk about apps or passwords or internet accounts that you need to make for maybe buying stuff or maybe at a restaurant, because then you can read the menu. So things that you will need in one very specific situation, but most of the time rarely use or ever use again afterwards. This is maybe the biggest point of digital clutter that I had before I started the pursuit of extreme digital minimalism. And then I realized that most of the times when you need to create an account for something online, most of the times you rarely or ever use it again. So I will immediately declutter every single internet account, password or app that I use once or don't know when I will use it again immediately, so it doesn't accumulate to a bigger number of internet accounts, passwords or apps. If I then need to use it again, I will make a new account or make a second account or whatever it is in the end. That will help me to realize if I really do need this app, because every time I will access this app, this password or this internet account, I need to make a new registration process, so it will take longer and more friction. So this way I really know if I do need it in the future or not. It makes it much easier to declutter these things. The second category of things are the things that I will declutter once per week, and that are photos, videos, documents, and also at the end of the week I will double check everything I mentioned before in the category that I normally immediately declutter. So photos, videos, and documents are most of the times things that you will need more often or more regularly. But for example, photos of food or whatever it is can most of the times be decluttered at the end of the week because most likely you will never or rarely use them again. But this is for me a very important, I would say, decision to make if I declutter things once a week or immediately. Because as I said, for some passwords or internet accounts, you maybe think that they are very important, but at the end of the week you realize you will rarely use them again. So this double check feature for the things I normally immediately declutter helps me a lot to keep track of everything and to keep my digital footprint as small as possible at the end of each week. So immediately declutter passwords, apps, and internet accounts, and once a week I do photos, videos, documents, and also, as I said, the double check for the things I mentioned before. But let's talk about the digital memories. And when I talk about that, I mainly mean photos and videos. And this is a very personal topic, to be honest, because every one of you will have a different definition of what is a memory or not. But personally, I just keep photos that I really connect memories to. So photos of like food or random street photos in every kind of city doesn't really connect to me, or I don't connect any memories to these photos or videos. So these are definitely things that I will declutter after I come back from a holiday or from a vacation trip. And I try to keep only the things where I really have immediate or instant memories to that I think are very important to keep. So even with memories in this case, or digital memories, I try to minimize it as much as I can to, yes, have still the good memories, but not overdo it in a way that I have photos from every single thing that I saw on a trip, and afterwards it was just, as I said, like a random city photo where I walked through a street or saw a building that looked nice, but doesn't really connect any memories to. Lastly, let's talk about storage, or storing your digital information and data and your footprint. I actually have only one source of storage, and that is this 256 gigabyte USB stick. No cloud, no other storage or device. And yes, I know USB drives are maybe not the fail-safest thing to store your data on, and they can be corrupted in some time. I definitely know that. But to be honest, everything can be corrupted in every kind of way. SSD, HDDs, and I honestly not a big fan of cloud. Yes, you have it up in the cloud, you don't need a physical device for it, but also a cloud can be shut down. You sometimes, or most of the times, need internet access to access your data or download your data. So for me, honestly, it's not the best option, especially when you try to minimize your digital footprint, to upload it to a digital medium. So on this USB drive, there are pictures, videos, some important documents. But if you want to make really sure that you have every important document on hand, the definitely most important documents, even if this one will fail, I have printed out. So everything that I need to live my life and everything I need to have here in Germany is printed out. So I have a physical copy of it, and not everything stored on this drive that can definitely fail at some point. So storage is also a very personal solution if you have only one device or multiple devices or use the cloud, but definitely make sure that you have the most important things. Even though your phone can fail you, you can lose your phone, to have it on a physical storage device, so it is easier for you to keep the most important things even when something happens to your mobile devices. As you can see, living an extreme digital minimalist life has a lot to do with constant decluttering and keeping track of what you have and what you don't want to have. And honestly, it is very similar to a one-bag life, because when you think about it, with a one-bag life, you only want to carry the most important essential physical things with you. And when you think about an extreme digital minimalist life, you only want to carry the most important essential digital assets with you. So that's a very good addition, I would say, with these both lifestyles. But in the end, it's all about consistency and really thinking about what you need and what you don't need. But now that you know everything about living a digital extreme minimalist lifestyle for a one-bag life, here is my single best tip on the easiest way how you can declutter your digital things and data for every kind of lifestyle, even if you're not pursuing a one-bag life. Create a favorite folders for every kind of category that you have digitally. Photos, documents, videos, and whatever else there is. If you are creating a folder with your favorite images, with your favorite documents that you maybe need, or maybe most important documents, it is more like, I would say, a game to find the right things. So for me, it was the easiest way to start decluttering my digital stuff or my digital data and information, because I saw it as a game. Finding the best pictures, finding the best memories that I could find, and that had made it very, very easy for me to declutter the rest. Because when you have a favorite or a favorite folder for every kind of, I would say, category of digital things, you can immediately see what is important to you and what not. And I don't say declutter everything immediately when you filled up that folder. Definitely check twice or double check the things that are left over, I would say, to see if you have really anything there that you want to keep as well. But in the end, the rest that is not in these favorite folders definitely can be decluttered in most of the times, but make sure to take your time, think more times about it. But in the end, it's a fun way to declutter, and you can relive a lot of the memories and a lot of the important situations in your life again by making these folders. If you liked the video, don't forget to subscribe and like, but most important, share a comment about if you think you have a lot of digital data or not. And also don't forget to check about the weekly one-bag life community post. If you now want to know what the drawbacks of living a low-tech life are, definitely watch my last video to find out about exactly that. But as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next video.